think right now I'm gonna talk about this idea of respect, which I think many conversations can be had about it. But one thing that I am under the impression of is that I heard someone say to me one time, familiarity, familiarity breeds contempt. Um, I don't know the exact definition of contempt, but I'm under the impression that it's basically ill feelings, maybe for lack of putting it a better way. Maybe that definition is synonymous with it. Either way, I think the idea is, um, I think I agree with it. I definitely have found myself in situations where the more I say about myself, it adds perspective to the idea that people already have about me. So it's like, obviously, everybody already has, like, they see me and then they have ideas associated with all the things that describe me, like dreads, skinny, you know, tan, whatever, the way I speak, where they see me, who I know, all that. I get it. I get it that you have to make assessments. But what I realized too is that, like, a lot of times when people see me, there are definitely people that don't like me. And there have been some situations where, like, I get why they don't like me. Um, but there are other situations where it's like, man, I don't get it. Like, I have no idea why you do not like me. I have done nothing to you. But aside from those two things, those two examples, what I realize is, like, for those who might, let me smell my own stank real quick. For those who think that I'm cool or that I'm worth liking without actually knowing me, I've been in situations where it's like once they get to know me, they feel like they've lost whatever made me cool in their eyes went away. And it's like what they respected more about me was the mysteriousness, like that they didn't know anything about me. So like they had to just fill in the blanks. And as I even say this, I'm not too sure whether or not this is a subject worth talking about, but what inspired it is just this idea of how we're entering in a new age of basically transparency. Like nothing that you do is really completely hidden. Uh, so it's like you do with that information what I think whatever you think you need to do with it. But yeah, opening up kind of I've seen sometimes that people lose respect and they feel like I don't know they don't need to that I'm just not cool anymore. But was I ever cool? uh, but yeah, I don't know. I'm rambling a little bit too much. Just I don't know. I think maybe I remember listening to Alan Watts and he was talking about when like Buddhist monks were kind of new to the Western culture, to the Western world. A lot of people would, travel overseas to seek out these people because they've heard so much about them. And then when they meet them, they find out like that the person smokes or that the person has multiple girlfriends or he cusses or just like there was this idea in their head that this person was a saint, but this person turns out is a Joe Schmo. Like just a Joe Schmo is something good to say. And so it's kind of like I'm a Joe Schmo, like I'm a nobody. And I don't know. I guess I just wonder how I feel about that sometimes. Like it is what it is. I can't change it. But one thing that I think like, and I would like everybody to follow this principle, but I can't expect it. But like with myself, um, I think there's a time and there's a place for maybe for changing your perspective on somebody based off of the information that you receive about them. Like it can be beneficial and it's not always preferable, to put it that way. But outside of that, though, it's kind of like in um, in AA, and I want to respect the privacy of it. Um, the thing about that is kind of like that program is that people uh, are transparent with each other, and people like everybody there has hit rock bottom, and they're at a turning point where it's like, well, you know, where does the road go next? But like the thing with sponsors and the people that are involved in the program is like there's a genuine connection and a genuine desire to forgive that person regardless of what they have done. And that right there is a whole nother conversation about what should be forgiven and what shouldn't. I'm not talking about that right now. But I think it's like for me, I hear about somebody, you hear about a celebrity and they're on this pedestal and you find out something bad about them and the whole world seems like hates on them. And then I think to myself, like, did you really love that person? Like, you just disrespecting, that person's whole image and you really don't know them. Like, you've only seen them on TV. And I get it. Like, I hear about celebrities and I'm like, I feel like if I walked up to them, I would know who they are. But then I always hear celebrities reply saying, you think that you know me, but you don't. That's fair. But it's kind of like, the thing about throwing people under the bus is like, it's that, you know, I'm in that situation too. So why would I throw you under the bus when, not everybody might approve of my lifestyle, my decisions, the choices I make, the way I spend my money, like you name it, whatever. Like, why you doing that? Like that's stupid. Uh, so it's kind of like about that. It's related. It's relevant. It's similar to that whole hate thing. Um, hate being a fire that will burn wildly and can quickly get out of control. And it's also kind of like the golden rule, do unto others as you want them to do unto you. Um, it's like, how would you like if you were really a celebrity, if you were really famous, how would you want to be treated? And so it's like, I want to be treated with respect. So I ain't really trying to go around and throw anybody else under the bus because I don't want to be thrown under the bus. And it's like, I have, it's like we just need to have the conversation about, what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. You know, um, clearly the culture, the current culture in 2019 is it's really like it's expanding and approving of many more different lifestyle choices that were once previously unacceptable, like interracial. I mean, that's not right now, but uh, interracial relations. Like me being an interracial human being, it's like I remember hearing stories about how back in the '80s, like even then, people looked down on interracial couples, and my mom and my dad got those looks, and it wasn't really accepted. Like nobody was throwing bricks, but you weren't exactly getting welcomed into the house for what you were doing. And it's like, you know, just because it's illegal doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. And I think it's like we're at a point in culture where maybe it's time to re-examine all of those things. Empathy is definitely like probably the number one rule. Empathy and logic are like, the two primary rules that I can think of as far as, re-examining that. And again, that's not the purpose of this conversation or this monologue, but more so just this idea of respect and how when you reveal yourself, it breeds contempt in other people, and their feelings change on you. And I think my thoughts on that is just kind of like that needs to change. It's like when someone, the more you learn about something, you know, keep that same energy. I mean, I get that there are times where you need to change. Like, okay, I can't be your friend anymore, or something like that. But you know, show a more forgiving hand because I think that uh, it's very easy to find yourself on the other side of that fence, and you're gonna be begging for some forgiveness. Yeah. But anyways, familiarity breeds contempt. Maybe that's the title of this video. I don't know.